All right, we're in here. This is the first live stream I've ever done. This is fun. We're here on Bandcamp. If you don't know me, my name's Victor. I'm the creator and player of the Blue Fiddles. And if you're in here, you probably know I'm putting out our new single called Long Memory. And today's the day. I'm teasing this. I'm previewing it. We're putting it out on Bandcamp. So I'm really excited about it. And again, this is fun. Never done a live stream before. This is a first for me. But I think this is a really cool way to share it before anybody else hears it. So welcome to the listening party, and thanks for tuning in. So I just want to get to playing it, but real quick, folks ask all the time, and I had a couple friends ask me on this one too, if I write my own stuff. And yeah, I do write my own songs, and the Blue Fiddles is just me right now. I'm a one-man band, but I write all my words, all my lyrics. I write all the music. So that's no exception with this one. When I go into the studio, though, I do use some really good session players. I've recorded all of my songs. This is the 7th release now that I'll do for the Blue Fiddles with Long Memory, but I've done every single one at a studio in Denton, Texas called Real Time Audio. And the engineer and owner up there is a guy named Eric Delegard, and he's just awesome. He knows how to mic up everything. He knows how to make the fiddle sound great. But the guys I use for this song, the drum, I use a session guitar player named Paul Metzger. This is his second song he's done for me. He did Ever Really Up to Us, which was the last single I just put out. But he did an awesome job. He's also the adjunct, instructor of jazz at University of North Texas, right there in Denton. There he is, yeah. So Paul Metzger, he did guitar on this track, just awesome work. And then for the drums on this, same thing. Guy by the name of Matt Thompson has played drums on every record I've done for the Blue Fiddles, and it's just he's an awesome guy. He's been a hard rock drummer for King Diamond. I have to play this real quick because he's just so good. It's insane. He does not do this level of drumming for my stuff. Yeah, Matt's an absolute monster. Just such a good guy too, so really easy to work with him. And every time I record something, I just love working with Matt. So when I give him something, he just walks in, he charts it out. He's like, "What do you want?" And he just lays it down. One take, he can nail it. So yeah, I write everything. I've used those two session folks to get guitar and drums down because, they can do more than I can with those instruments. But the hook here, so Long Memory, I wish I could say I write this stuff and I sit down at the desk and I come up with an idea and, things come to me and I can just write a whole song. I definitely can't. So the concept for this just came to me when you're doing something mundane. You're walking around, you're taking out your trash, you're mowing the lawn, you're going grocery shopping, and you just have this concept. And of course, you try to write things that are universal and can apply to different people and their situation or whatever they're going through. But I don't remember exactly what was going on when this concept came up, but the hook for this song I thought was just great. And that came to me where I got a real short fuse and a long memory. And so I had that, and I was like, that's a good hook. So it took a while to put the verses around that, but I wrote this song just around that one concept and put the rest to it. So that's kind of how it goes. I don't think I've ever written a song I liked where I sat down and said, let me come up with a catchy hook and then put a song around it. It's just never worked for me that way. So yeah, let's just get to a listen because I want to talk about like the influences and kind of the sound behind it, but let's just listen to it. And yeah, and I'll kind of go through where it all came from. But first time sharing this live anywhere, so this is awesome. This is really fun. Let's see. Let me see if I know how to do that. All right, we got this guy, big monitor screen. All right, here we go.
Before the whistle, after the bell, go down the civil, drag up some hell, sit on the carpet, sweet sweep up the mud, tear down the target, sweat in the blood. Braggadocio, showing some nerve, telling me what you think I deserve. Crossing lines that no one else sees, then you try to act shocked when you're chopped at the knees. Roll them on if you're looking for more. I'm the guy that goes killing for sport. Pick a fight, know that if it's with me, I got a real short fuse and a long memory. Bring me a battle, you think you'll win. Hold up your halo when your horns should have been. You're faking the rival like the wrong cage, wearing a smile, naked with rage. Your little sister showing some nerve, trying to take what you never can earn. Put a price on something that's free, then you try to act shocked when you don't get it from me. Roll them on if you're looking for more. I'm the man you met killing for sport. Think if I know that if it's with me, I got a real short fuse and a long memory. So if you're vexed in a fight and think the kick's coming from me, I got a real sharp fuse and a long memory.
There it is. There it is. Man, it's fun. That's what I'm going for with this whole thing. You know, people hear fiddle. Anytime they hear the word fiddle, they think, oh, you're going to do country, you're going to do bluegrass, you're going to do folk. No, I'm trying to do blues rock with this, and that I hope that is as blues rock a song as you're going to hear today. It's funny, if you listen to that, I hear my influences in there. I think it's pretty obvious, but I don't know. There's two things that kind of come in there, like Ted Nugent, Stranglehold. I still love Stranglehold, that song. Let's see. Ted Nugent called the opening to Stranglehold the sexiest riff of all time. You know, so there's definitely some of that. There's some of that in there for sure. And yeah, I'm not saying I lifted Ted Nugent, but listening back to it, it's like you can hear it, that Stranglehold riff. If I can hit those notes, I'm not Ted Nugent. And then obviously it's almost comical how much I think it sounds like ZZ Top. Maybe some LaGrange in there. So I hope ZZ Top doesn't sue me for this one. That'd be great, honestly, if ZZ Top heard that song and thought, "Hey, man, you sound a little too much like we do." That would be awesome and a compliment. But I gotta say, I wish it was grittier. I wish Long Memory. I wish I had delivered it a little grittier. What do I mean by that? again, trying to do blues rock, I think this song is the perfect archetype for what the Blue Fiddles, I hope, will become musically. But yeah, there's some empty space in there when I hear it back, and in the verses in particular. Let's see.
Bring up your halo, wear your horns to the band.
Shoot it right there.
You're faking the rival like the wrong cage. Wearing a smile.
I don't know. It's just things you hear. It'll never be perfect, y'all. It'll never be perfect. But yeah, the tone is good. I love the tone. Again, I love what Eric Delegard does at Real Time Audio. He always gets the sound and all of it balanced just perfectly. I just personally wished I had delivered something a little more grittier. There's just a little more action in the middle portion of the song. I think the solos are okay, you know. Again, self-critical. It'll never be perfect. But it's funny. I talked about Paul Metzger, the guitar player who did this track, and he did some really cool stuff and some solos he put down. But I got some feedback just from folks that have been listening and supporting this, and good close friends who are listening to other songs, earlier songs that I put out, and they said specifically, "Hey, this is the Blue Fiddles. You're trying to do the blues rock fiddle band. There's a lot of guitar solos in your songs. You should just make it all fiddle." And so I heard that and I thought, okay, that's good feedback. And so this one, the first couple tracks we put down for Long Memory in the studio, Paul did some awesome work. You know, he lays down that heavy rhythm guitar, which is just perfect, and he nailed it. And then we got into some solos and he did some really cool stuff. And then coming back in, thinking through that feedback where folks are like, you know, this should be a fiddle heavy solo song. There was a couple licks in there where I heard what he did and it just stuck in my brain. And I was like, I don't want to rewrite a solo. I just want to use what he did. So Paul, I hope Paul hears this at some point, but I hope he doesn't mind that I lifted his lick, which was just a super saucy lick, and put it on fiddle. Because, hey, I mean, it is the Blue Fiddles. But yeah, I loved working with Paul. What was that? Like there was in that second solo on guitar, he played. I loved that. It was just awesome. I was like, I got to use that. So I did, and it's in there. It's probably my favorite lick from any of the solos or leads in there. So thanks, Paul, for that. Yeah, next time I do this, though, I'm going to try to give it more crunch, try to give it some more space in there, and throw some more of that energy into it. But overall, I think it's a great song. I'm proud of it. I love it. I think the hook is good. I think the message is probably the most direct and clear concept of the stuff that I write. And I've said this before, anything that I write for the Blue Fiddles, I try to do stuff where if you listen to it in one context, okay, it seems pretty down the middle, pretty straightforward. But then if you give it a different lens and say, no, it's actually about this, you could put some random context into it. You listen to the song and then you're like, there's all these other meanings and there's all this other potential. I don't know if that's the case for Long Memory. I think the words are, and the tone and the message is pretty straightforward, which is okay. I'm good with that. But I just love that hook. I got a real short fuse and a long memory. I think that's very evocative. So it's fun. It's a great blues rock song, and I can't wait to start playing that one live more. It's definitely have to figure out how to keep the tempo high and keep the crunch going. But yeah, I mean, I appreciate everybody's support so far and getting this one out the door. It's been so much fun getting the feedback on writing things and hearing what people like, and especially when they're talking about the fiddle, like, hey, it's a fiddle band, give it more fiddle. So thank you for everything to get this one done, and for listening to this, and the folks that are taking this stuff in and sharing it with their friends. I really appreciate it. And this is cool on Bandcamp too. If obviously doing this live stream and this listening party on Bandcamp, I think Bandcamp is an awesome platform, and it's basically artists direct to listeners and fans and the music community. And they just do such a good job of anything that you make. you take. So I appreciate that. And it's fun to be able to do this. I think I'm going to do more live streams like this. But if you like the song, then I sure would love it if you can share it. And thank you already for our dear friends picking this one up and buying it here on Bandcamp. So again, just very grateful for the opportunity to get to make music and do this kind of thing. So if you've got questions or just things that you're curious about, throw them in the chat or hit me up on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, wherever. It's just at the Blue Fiddles, because obviously I love to talk about this stuff. So it's live on Bandcamp now. Thanks for your support. Long Memory is coming to Spotify and all the other streaming platforms at the end of the month, October 29th. And can't wait for the rest of the world to hear it. But you heard it first. So this is a lot of fun. And yeah, in the chat, Julia, you should be proud. Hook is baller. Thank you. That's very kind. Curious about gritty and crunchy. Yeah. I don't know. If you listen to guitar players or any legendary musician or any, musician who's done it long enough, I don't know if you're a trumpet player or a guitar player or a fiddle player, I think you're chasing your own tone. And when you hear somebody in a record that the first few notes, you instantly recognize a song or the player, it's because they have their own sound. And, in my opinion, most of that sound is the tone. Do they have their own tone? Do they have their own style in that tone? So I'm still trying to find the tone. Because the fiddle, it's so versatile. It's so, you can play it sweetly. You can make it beautiful and do the or, you can do the. So I'm trying to find a tone for the Blue Fiddles. And that's that crunchy and gritty comment. Like in the song, it's easy to over distort the violin, the fiddle, because it's a high treble instrument. So you don't want to put a guitar distortion pedal on it and crank it up. You'll sound not so good, in my opinion. So yeah, the grit and the crunch. It's delicate with the fiddle. I'm looking for that tone. I think that'll be a lifelong journey with the Blue Fiddles to find that signature sound and that tone. And I think Long Memory is a great start towards that, because it's definitely an experiment in finding that sound where it's instant, where that's Victor playing the Blue Fiddle. Not there yet, but fun to try to get there. Yeah, making it more spacious and giving it space and filling the gaps the right way. I think B.B. King said it. Maybe it was him. I'll attribute it to him, but maybe it was someone else. That it's not about how fast you can play, and I'm paraphrasing this loosely. It's not about how fast you can play. It's not about how technical you are. What's most important is the notes you decide not to play, which I think is super interesting, especially in blues, maybe less so in blues rock. But what space do you give your song? Where do you plug in the right notes at the right time? And I definitely have a tendency to overplay on my instrument because I love to play. So I just want to throw everything in there. So I don't know. I think this song might be a little too spacious. Maybe I gave it too much room to breathe, and I could have thrown in some of the right notes in there. But I still love it. I think it's a good song. So I appreciate that comment in the chat. But anyway, yeah. So thanks for listening to this one. I'll let it run one more time, and then October 29th, it'll be out there on Spotify and Apple on the rest. But get out there on Bandcamp and share it with anybody you know. I appreciate that. That would mean a lot to me. It's still just me right now. I'm a one-man band. This is all independent, indie artists, indie rock. I think that's the way, the truth, and the life. But thank you again for all the support. Long Memory, live now on Bandcamp, October 29th, everywhere else. It's been a lot of fun. So I'll throw it up one more time, give it a listen, and yeah, hit me up after this, and more to come from the Blue Fiddles. Thank you all so much.
Naked whistle after the bell. Throw down the civil, drag up some hell. Sit on the carpet, sweep up the mud, tear down the target, sweat in the flood. Braggadocio, showing some nerve, telling me what you think I deserve. Crossing lines that no one else sees, then you try to act shocked when you're chopped at the knees. Roll them on if you're looking for more. I'm the guy that goes killing for sport. Pick a fight, know that if it's with me, I got a real short fuse and a long memory. Bring me a battle, you think you'll win. Hold up your halo where your horns should have been. You're faking the rival like the wrong cage.